We are live on Zoom and we are looking almost live. Yes. Welcome back to The Change Physician. I am Melissa Cady, the Challenge Doctor, with my awesome co-host, Dr. Kevin Cuccaro. If you're seeing me on the Challenge Doctor page, it's actually being cross-posted from the Change Physician Facebook page. Feel free to follow there. Of course, you can always follow us on all the podcast venues and see all our episodes. We've already reached 100 episodes. We are coming up on our 102nd and 103rd for the next week.
102nd episode.
And so we're looking forward to sharing that. We'll give you some updates on what's happened, what's coming, and what our favorite things of the week are. And so Kevin is in the middle of trying to share everything everywhere. So I just fill the void.
Because this is a little more complicated, which I'll bring into my Friday fave thing, is I'm trying to do this on my phone.
Yes, a much different scenario.
A much different scenario, that's for sure.
Yeah. So because you're doing that, I'll at least touch on, mention what's happened in the last 2 episodes this past week. So we went from, actually we had the 100th and 100, actually it was 100, I was wrong when I said that. We have the 102nd and 103rd coming up, but the 100th and 101st was this past week. And the cool thing and fun thing about the 100th episode is that we created this trailer frenzy of multiple guests. Bless you if that was a sneeze. Trailer frenzy, almost 42 minutes of like super highlighted, great material that just punched the perfect information into your brain. And it's a great, I think it's definitely worth a listen. We couldn't get everyone that we've interviewed into that, but there's a lot of great content that is packed into episode 100. So please go listen to episode 100. The next thing that we had coming out on our second 100, which the focus is on personal development for physicians or any physician allies or anyone listening to these podcasts or chats. But we talked about what it is successful people do versus people that I don't want to say unsuccessful, maybe less successful people. It kind of depends.
Maybe people who aren't where they want to be. Yeah. How about that?
Yeah, maybe I should change the title. Saying unsuccessful kind of like really a downer for human beings.
Well, we did put that in the that is the quote, but
yes.
I guess the important thing we should put this as a caveat on there is for that particular episode is because that brings the whole thing is what success is, and I would say success is where you're not where you want to be.
Right.
Like is a level of dissatisfaction there, and so that quote it's about basically is successful people do the things, the small simple things that unsuccessful don't do or don't even think are important. And it isn't, again, it's not meant to be judgmental or anything like that, but there's a place where if you are not where you want to be, is look at those little important interactions or look what people are doing that you think is where you want to be and do those. It's oftentimes kind of behind the scenes. It's the stuff that they're doing every day, whether it's for the health, wealth, etc. But they're often really simple. They're often underappreciated, but what they do take is some discipline that you need to do. Yeah, but if you're perfectly happy wherever you are at with yourself and everything else,
turn us off and ignore us and
turn us off and go listen to the Unchanged Physician podcast.
That's awesome.
The stagnant physician. I don't know what we call that.
Yeah. You need to have at least a goal, or you need to be doing the things that would lead to a goal. So it's real simple, but you got to be intentional about it, of course. And then, do you want to say what's coming up? Actually, I could say it because I've got the list right in front of me.
All right. So since I have those technical difficulties.
Yeah, since you have some technical problems over there in Oregon. So the next episode that's coming out on Sunday is basically we're doing it based on some quotes these next 2 episodes. So I don't have the full quote in front of me, but essentially the right versus easy way. So many of us have come to a fork in a road on whether we want to take the easy path, which tends to be the path most traveled, or maybe do the right thing, which is not always the easiest path. So we go into some examples and some ideas of that particular quote. Did you want to have any comment on that?
I just love that quote. It's
Okay.
it's as I mentioned into it, it's directly from Harry Potter. So
Yeah. So
full
you'll
of
get
wisdom, not necessarily Harry. He was sort of kind of annoying, but Dumbledore, he had some wisdom. You listen to him.
Yeah. So listen to that episode and you can hear the full on quote that was stated. And then the following episode is about aligning what you think, what you say, and what you do. And I go into detail of Mahatma Gandhi's actual quote on that. And we give real life examples of our own situations, especially me. Um, and, and somehow I just share my stories. So we go into a little more depth on that, and then we let into some possibilities of other quotes and ideas at the end of that we'll probably dive into in other episodes. So any other last words on those
Last
episodes?
words. No, they're fun. I think I've mentioned it before. I just really enjoy the new format. I enjoy having those discussions with you, and I'm excited for some of the future episodes and some of the ideas that we have coming up.
Yeah.
So if you guys are interested and you're interested in learning about the self, right? Like
Mhm.
doing this journey that we call life and kind of learning some little bits of words of wisdom, or certainly some of the failings that we've had and personal experiences where we got that wisdom the hard way, and the wisdom that we're hoping to grow. Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely subscribe to the podcast because they're fun discussions, and I'm definitely enjoying them. So
Yeah. And if any of you that are listening don't really know our stories, you can go to thechangedphysician.com to hear a little bit about our backgrounds. But just to reemphasize, we're, both pain medicine fellowship trained physicians that do not participate in traditional pain interventional type of work. So it's been a very serpiginous, is that a good word?
serpiginous.
A serpiginous path. um, kind of we've learned along the way and realization. So we've had a unique perspective, and it's even more unique how we met. And anyway, there's plenty of episodes where we touch on that too, but I think it's kind of good to be reminded of, kind of, especially if you're just chiming in now and haven't heard those episodes, that um, it's been really
Who are
nice
these
to,
weird people? Yeah, who are these
yeah,
weird
who are
people,
these
and what
people?
are they talking to them, and why should I listen to them?
Yeah. 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 Two DOs that met through a mutual friend, and because of the paths that we took. And so it's really cool to do these kind of conversations across multiple states and have intellectual conversations about, really pressing and important topics. And of course, Friday Faves is intended to kind of be a light conversation, and we always touch on our favorite things. So we're going to end with our favorite things of the past week. So do you have any favorite things, Kevin?
I always have favorite things, but this favorite thing this week had to do with about working computers. So the reason I'm having some technical difficulties is because after Friday Faves last week, which I guess that was my favorite thing, is we actually got to do Friday Faves. I walked in to my bedroom, which is also my office, and I had the white screen of death. So if you guys don't know what the white screen of death is, that's when it's I think there was another one for something else, but this is for a Mac. And it was just this white screen. I'm like, what is going on? You try to restart it and it kind of did something, and it kind of kicked its dying breath or whatever. And then finally, I don't know what happened with it. But the long and short of it is I'm now working on the laptop, which is my daughter's laptop, which you don't want to log in anything in, because if you log into one thing, God knows how long it's going to be here. And I don't want her going through my email or even on my Facebook account. So makes things interesting. So my favorite thing is when you have a nice working computer. Uh, my other favorite thing is having backups where you can kind of figure out how you're doing, what you're going to do. And then this is going to hit. I think I brought this up a number of different times. Is I'm and my son just graduated from high school, which has brought a lot of memories back, and it's been a really interesting experience as a parent. Like remembering when I graduated from high school, remembering that environment, and then seeing him, and then kind of remembering him as this little peanut and things. So my family is definitely remaining top of mind. They're always one of my favorite things, but they're really, really, I'm very consciously aware of it. Um, and the other thing that I've been really, really appreciative for this week is the COVID vaccine. So I'm fully vaccinated. Everybody in my house, except for my daughter, is fully vaccinated. My daughter is had her second dose, so we only have 2 weeks until she's fully vaccinated. We had family in town for this graduation. Everybody was fully vaccinated, so we're in the same house. We're hanging out. You can give hugs. You can do all this stuff, and it's just awesome. Like to see what I just love vaccinations. Actually, the other thing I saw, so I went and established myself with a primary care doc, which is a whole nother story that was not my favorite thing. And I'm only doing it just so I have somebody in case something bad ever happens. Because they always say, go see your primary care doc, and I don't have one. But I was commenting to the MA there about, because apparently somehow they had all my vaccination information. The only way I can figure that out is they took it from my credentialing packet, which I'd given like 12 years ago, because I have not been with this as a patient with them, which is really weird. But I needed to get my booster, my Tdap, because it is expired. And they're like, oh, do you want to do it today? This, that, or whatever thing. And I'm like, yeah, I'll give it today. Like, I love vaccines. Like, there's people out there, and we'll probably get it because we talked about vaccines on something, and we had all sorts of people watching our video. I don't know if you remember that. We talked with Brad of a Physician's Guide to Doctoring about vaccination, how to talk about that. And all these anti-vaxxers, I swear to God, they just found the video and just swarmed on it with all this crap, people. It's crap. And vaccines are awesome. Like, awesome. What else can you do that you get this injection that stimulates your own body's immune response in the way it is designed to do, amazing immune system to protect you in the future? So you're amplifying what your own inherent capability is. And so, yeah, right now, my favorite thing this week is vaccines and the potential there and what we've done with them, and the COVID vaccine and how that's really sort of changed things in a really short breadth of time. So I think that's enough favorites for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think risk benefits, everyone can always pause and do their own little research and investigate, things that come from actual good good information resources.
Now Bob down the street with, talking to his dog or whatever.
Yeah. No emotional reaction or these purported theories and stuff. There's times where I haven't, gotten a flu vaccine, and, and the percentages have not been really effective in certain years and stuff. So, I mean, I make a choice at times, but overall, I feel like vaccines are an amazing way to, prepare your immune system for exposure. And so, and then granted, there are some people that do have like legitimately some allergic reactions to certain components. Like, that's where you do your due diligence and understand, what you're going to be putting in your body. But other than that, I think it's great. So I second that, especially when you look at the impact of the pandemic in this world.
Yeah. Well, then I talked about it with my wife. Like, they still report like infections and deaths.
Yeah.
And she's been following this forever. And I was like, what they really need to be doing. And again, this is not supposed to be shaming, but it is supposed to just bring some awareness to this, is when you're reporting the deaths, and particularly as we get 2 or 3 more months down the line, and everybody's had the opportunity, at least in the United States, to just report the differences, like who's dying. Because I guarantee you that they're the people who aren't been vaccinated yet. And so there's a real risk with this, and we have a real solution for it. And the risks of that solution are so low as compared to the other side. Like, people, well, I'm young and healthy. Well, you want to generalize basically vasculopathy from this infection, where now you're attacking all sorts of stuff. And granted, if you're young, you're more likely to recover from it, but there's this sequelae that's associated long-term for some people.
Yeah.
And why would you do that? Why would you put that hit and stress on your body when you don't have to?
Yeah. I mean, I have a nurse friend that, still can't smell or taste things. And, you really, I mean, even if it wasn't, actually she felt pretty bad for weeks, but you can't minimize, there's still these risks and quality of life issues. Like, it's like I tell people all the time, if I just, put a mask and take precautions and get the vaccines when it makes sense to, like, I do all those things. It's because I recognize that I just don't want to be sick. Like, who really wants to be sick? Like, it seems like that kind of trade-off, like, I don't trust this, or all the theories. We're not going to get into this, but it's just that, okay, let's think of the flip side. I mean, if you really know people that have gotten sick, are you okay with that? Are you okay with, you're fine, you happy with that? I'm like, who ever is happy with being sick? I mean, most people are complaining. So,
Yeah. Well, then you have those memories. Last time I had flu, I was like, oh my God, this is awful. I just want to die.
yeah, like I'd rather, take that minimal risk from, a vaccine than the more known risks of the actual disease. Like, come on, like that's just my professional, medical, and personal opinion mixed all together.
Hey,
Um, yeah,
why would you want smallpox? Why would you want to get meningitis? Why would you want to get polio? Why would you want to get the chickenpox one? I think is kind of interesting because that your immunity sort of wanes, and so when do you get it, and things, so that you prevent you don't want women to get chickenpox while they're pregnant, and there's a risk of that if you vaccinate too early and they don't get a booster. But it's just awesome, like
yeah,
all these super crappy diseases out there that if you're vaccinated you really don't have to worry about. And I don't think people actually understood, or like iron lungs for people, like how man, it's just, vaccines
yeah,
are so awesome. Like I am not a super, like, anybody who knows me knows I am not like the yay medicine. In fact, I'm sort of the
yeah,
anti. There's a lot of crap we do that has
yeah,
absolutely no business to spending hundreds of billions of dollars on, and actually has worse outcomes associated with it. But something like this, line them up, man.
yeah.
I'm a huge vaccine fan.
That brings up another topic we could talk later about, how we lump and categorize things. Like the moment something bad, like we realize this isn't necessary and this shouldn't be done by the medical field or something, then there's people that are kind of just anti-medicine when that
Mhm.
happens. It's like, no, 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 no. There are some good things in there. You have to learn how to differentiate those things and recognize what's appropriate and what's not. And that's where a lot of the work is. And because I say that I like to, I think that there's a lot of important vaccines, and there might be a flu vaccine here or there I don't get, which some people might question, but at the same time, I could change my tune. I've never had the flu that I know of, and I feel like I have a pretty good immune system.
But when I had the flu,
Like in
it's
your
because I
30s and
didn't I
40s.
didn't get vaccinated. No,
Yeah,
I just had it
probably.
a couple of years ago. And because you're
Yeah,
saying this flu vaccine, so and I don't want to sound like a complete and utter hypocrite, but
yeah,
oftentimes I forget to get the flu vaccine. For a
yeah,
lot of years, I had low risk
yeah.
on it, and it was just okay. I was just lazy. That's really what it comes
Yeah,
down to.
I
I
mean,
was
I've
just
gotten
lazy
it
to do it.
every few years. It's
Yeah.
not like I've declined it every time, but I'm like, I've got one here or there, like
It
doesn't
does
feel as
suck though, man. Holy crap. When I had it, I was like, this freaking sucks. And I was the only one in the house because
yeah,
everybody else was vaccinated, and it sucks. Like
yeah.
when people are like in COVID, it was fun. Oh, it's just the flu. I'm like,
The
the
flu
flu
is
sucks.
still
Yeah,
sucks.
the flu sucks. But
Yeah.
and it wasn't just the flu, but anyway.
Yeah. Well, and don't just because I am because someone says, they want the vaccine, it doesn't mean that someone like us or, does not recognize I think there's this like this polarized approach where, oh, the immune system will take care of it. And I initially at the beginning of the pandemic was like that. I was like, I didn't recognize the gravity of the situation until I got more information. But then, just because it's like some people are just like totally just immune system, trust it, trust in God or whatever the reasons. And then there's like, it's like this polarized all medicine or all trust nature. I'm like, I kind of feel like um, I do believe in the beauty and the miraculousness of the human body and how it's capable of keeping us from dying without us thinking about all the processes that we have to do that we're not consciously aware of, otherwise we'd be dead as a species. But so I recognize it's like a combo thing. The vaccine is you're taking advantage of this miraculousness of the immune system in the human body and allowing it to augment itself to be more prepared for any microbe that it comes across or that particular microbe that it comes across. So it's not that you're dismissing that beauty of the human body and its capabilities. I think people are just worried about
Well, did we do an episode on that? I can't remember
I
if
think we did something.
it's not either or, it's and. Did we do that?
That sounds very familiar.
Okay.
You go back and look.
Yeah,
You want
because
to
I
make
mean,
notes?
well, that's really what it's all about, right? It's not necessarily either or.
Yeah, it's a
It's
spectrum.
and.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you not use this fantastic scientific advance and eat healthy, exercise, get sleep, understand stress reduction and the body's immune response, and particularly about how you can, how you can modulate your own inflammatory system by doing healthy related behaviors. But you don't want to rely on just one or the other, particularly when you got something that works so well and that can actually is synergistic with what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't throw up what is that quote? Baby with the
bathwater.
I'm thinking of like how someone was, every time they were like, oh, you're giving me propofol, that's what Michael Jackson died of, right? And I was like,
you got it from a cardiologist for sleep.
It's how you use it. I'm like, you can die from too much water and too much oxygen. And they're like, really? I'm like, it's all about the dosing and how you use it. And like, oh, that's true.
And the other thing that this is the little bit of science interest in me about this whole thing is one of my attendings in residency, that was his specialty, was sleep. And he studied anesthesia and kind of the physiological effects, and anesthesia is not sleep. So here's poor Michael Jackson, who's getting a drug to induce some sort of anesthetic or light anesthetic state that isn't associated with restorative sleep. Yeah. So anyway, don't take propofol to go to bed.
Yeah.
Go to bed, like, people.
It's the extreme things, like people, if eating too much gets you obese and makes you unhealthy and have health problems, doesn't mean you stop eating.
Yeah, you don't do that.
Like you don't just go to the opposite side just because something, you got fear in something. Anyway, but let me get to my favorites.
We haven't even gotten to your favorites yet.
I know. Gosh. So I'm going to share a few pictures that I thought were kind of fun from this past week. So let me kind of make sure I can see all these things. And there we go. So first of all, my husband and I were taking a walk and we saw this cute little thing show up. I got the whole thing covered. I can't see where I'm at. Okay. So I need to share my screen here. We'll go to this one. And
oh, it's a praying mantis.
It is, and it was only about 1.5 inches long, and my husband took a close-up picture of it, and it is super cute. And the moment he moved around with the camera, the little head started
looking totally at it to smile, because that one, she's looking for her husband for a snack.
Yeah, so that's
she's looking at you going, how come you're not, you got that nice snack next to you, Melissa? How come you're not eating that nice snack?
No. But then I decided I'm going to share with you my
that is a beautiful mantis, though. I do like praying mantis.
Yeah, it was so cute. And then I saw it again the next day when I was mowing the lawn, and it was walking around the tree like 20 or 30 feet away from where we originally saw it. So that was random. He's survived so far. Let's share. So this is my favorite thing I've grown this year. It's right in the middle of the sun time. So this is almost like 4 feet like spread. But it was only probably a few inches tall.
What is it?
I got it. So this is the Okinawan spinach.
Oh,
it is beautiful. And right now it looks a little wilty just because the sun's hitting it, and it kind of like retracts, and then in the evening it'll pop back out. But the purple is like purple all the way underneath, and you can see tiny little leaves already growing out from all these different spaces. But this is, I think it's in China, Thailand, I don't know if it's Korea, but it has this is like a herb type vegetable. It's like an herb thing, I guess. You can just cut the leaves, and I've been cutting them, and they taste really good.
So do you eat it like salad then, or do you use it as a
I cut it up and put it in salad. You can also, cook it down. So I bought 4 more from a place. If you want to know where I get this, I'm not going to tell you. You got to comment on this post and I'll tell you where I buy this from. I actually have it mailed to me, but it is an amazing, I'm in Austin, Texas, and we get serious heat, which just started kicking in the 90s this week. But it just is a huge, fast grower, and it's evergreen. So
Right on.
I'm very thrilled with this particular one. There is another one. I'll just, actually one of my favorite that I'm sure a lot of people have. So again, this was Okinawan spinach. Amazing. And this other one is, you probably can recognize it. Can you tell what
Some
it
basil.
is? Yeah. So it's Thai basil. And this thing, I try to grow some of it in the sunroom for a while and it just doesn't take off. Like, it really needs the sun.
So one thing on those is I always heard if you pinch the flowers off, they grow more leaves or something.
Okay. Yeah. So this
just like,
no, it's great.
Okay.
They just started coming in this past week. So yeah, I'll try that, or I'll read up on it more. But the Thai basil, and I didn't realize this kind of like stick around. I think it sticks around like all year or dies off maybe in the winter a little bit, but comes back. I don't know. It seems like a perennial.
You got some peppers too.
Okay, that's in the back. I haven't even showed you
Your favorite things are my favorite things.
What's that?
Your favorite things are my favorite things. Melissa's plants makes me want to eat. I'm hungry now.
I know. I'm ready to go eat downstairs. So Thai basil, I like it. It's one of my favorite things this week too, because it's just proliferating, like growing so fast. And I've got a whole bunch of other things I'll share with you next week that are starting to grow pretty well. But yeah, I'm excited. And I got a whole bunch of my trees pruned in my yard, and it looks like it just livened up. So just little things. Anyway, those are my favorite things. So
right on.
You want to tag anything else on or take us out?
No more. I don't have any more favorites. We went a little bit longer than usual today, but yeah, maybe a little bit of a rant.
We do that.
We're good at that sometimes. And you should have done I should have not ranted so you can get your pictures in with your beautiful plants, because people need to see those. And I actually am very interested in that purple spinach stuff because that looks awesome.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that sounds cool. But
yeah,
anyway, for the rest of you, put your favorite things in the comments, or you can email us directly at drkevin@thechangedphysician.com and send us your comments, and we'll love to discuss them. If you have a favorite thing, let us know. Again, we would love to see what your favorite things are or hear what your favorite things are. If you're a physician or a physician ally, feel free to join us at thechangedphysician.com. You can sign up for the email list there. And of course, join us next Friday for Friday Faves, and we will see you then.
Take care, everybody.